Oh, wow. Look who came crawling back.
Hi, Rosabel. How are you? You sound a little bit sleepy.
I'm having a little break from all my meetings today.
How many meetings have you had?
Let me think. One, two, three, four. Four meetings.
And now a beautiful phone call from your friend David.
Yes, it's the cherry on the top of the cake.
I've got a confession to make. I'm calling for the podcast.
What about friendship?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. It's the important stuff first.
Okay.
So, kind of to allow the podcast team to have a little holiday, we're revisiting an older episode, one that really resonated at the time, and we're kind of going to update it. It's the one about leaf blowers. Did you ever listen to that one?
I did listen to it.
You know, at its most basic, the episode is about America's obsession with leaf blowers and leaf blowing. And I'm just wondering, as a New Zealander, if you have any thoughts on leaf blowers.
Sorry, is that really loud?
What was that big bang?
There's some men on the roof, and I think they're like replacing the roof, maybe. But they're throwing stuff off the side of it at the moment.
It adds some good texture to our chat.
Sorry, what was your question?
I was wondering if you had any thoughts on leaf blowers, because they're not nearly as common in New Zealand.
Yeah, I think because I haven't had that experience that you've had, they seem like a novelty to me. Like if someone had one or was using one, I'd feel curious rather than annoyed.
So I guess my other question for you, living in a country that hasn't embraced the leaf blower, have the unblown leaves in New Zealand caused you any problems?
Okay, well, I don't want to be pro leaf blower because I don't think I am, but I have slipped on a leaf before. When it was raining and the leaf was wet and my shoes didn't have good grip.
Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry.
Well, it sounds like you're laughing, so I'm not sure if you are sorry. But I think it was similar to a banana, when people slip on a banana.
Was it just one single leaf that you slipped on?
I think so. And it was on a concrete floor, but I didn't fall over. I just sort of slid along the pathway for a little bit. It was a bit shocking.
But you made a graceful recovery.
That time I did.
I'm David Farrier, a New Zealander accidentally marooned in America, and I want to figure out what makes this country tick. Now, you may have not noticed, but tomorrow is a very big day, possibly the biggest day. It's my birthday. Yes, so while many of you are out there celebrating Christmas Day in some form or another, I'm destined to spend yet another December 25th being ignored and outshone by one of the biggest holidays of the year. Maybe I will bake my own tiny birthday cake and sing myself happy birthday. Don't worry, I'll be fine. But let's not make this all about me. I wouldn't dare do that. To celebrate the holidays and to give the Flightless Bird team a little bit of time off this holiday week, today we revisit one of our favorite episodes and discuss what's changed since it was first broadcast on the podcasting airwaves. From my perspective, very little has changed because I still have a deep hatred of the leaf blower. If anything, my distaste for this pointless polluting machine has only increased tenfold, possibly 100-fold. So prepare to have your peaceful holiday period ruined by the loud, grating, irritating, insufferable, galling, maddening sound of a leaf blower, because this is the Leaf Blowers Redux episode.
Flightless bird touchdown in America. I'm a flightless bird touchdown in America.
Hi Rob, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. I felt myself getting fired up just reading that introduction to leaf blowers. I've just got back from Australia and New Zealand. Every morning I would wake up, it was peace because there were no leaf blowers.
You almost had your newscaster voice, but it was a little more angry.
It was coming on. It had been triggered. I want to say, I think most of this episode is going to be at the end when we discuss the feedback to American Girl. There is so much that has come in, and I'm going to go through some of it. One thing I would like to say as a PSA, please stop emailing in your American Girl doll photos because they're terrifying, especially if you've got the one you had when you were a kid, and I don't want to see them.
Yeah.
Too scary.
The old-fashioned ones get... The older, the creepier.
The amazing emails. Just please, no more photos.
Yeah, DM the photos to
DM
David
them.
and tag him in them, but not to our email address.
I'm wondering, Rob, if since we first talked about leaf blowers, which will be years ago now, have you had any other thoughts, experiences? Do you own a leaf blower?
I own a leaf blower, yes.
Of course you do. Electric or gas?
Electric.
That's good.
It's not super loud,
Mhm.
and I need an extension cord.
What are you blowing? You don't have a lot of trees. Do you have trees on your property?
We've got a big tree in the backyard.
Okay.
So I'm mostly using it if we're having people over. I need to like blow the trees stuff off of the deck.
And where do the leaves blow onto? The lawn?
To a corner somewhere.
So you blow them into a corner and they sort of sit in the corner, or do you put them in a bin from that point?
They just kind of sit in the corner.
Okay.
And my driveway,
cool.
I'll sometimes just blow it down the driveway.
Okay. Fair.
Into the front part of my driveway where just like it goes under my car.
It still causes me problems like voicing these little audio docs I do from my apartment. And some days I just give up. Like Wednesdays, it's a big leaf blowing day. And so I just know that day I can't record voiceover because there'll be about 10 of them out the window.
I think the thing for me with the leaf blowers is the guys leaf blowing usually are wandering very close to the street. And it's loud. I feel like they don't hear cars coming. So half the time when I'm driving on a residential street and I see one of them, I feel like they're just going to wander into the road.
Yeah, because they've got no sense.
No
That's
sense.
the thing.
I don't know if they have no sense.
Well, they've got no ear sense. Like their senses are blocked. So like you might like stumble in front of you.
Yeah, and they like usually have a bandana over their face and maybe obstructing their vision a little bit.
Yeah, well, they're surrounded by like a cacophony of dust and leaves, and it's awful.
So I'm always like a little on edge when I'm approaching
cautious.
of like, oh, this guy's going to jump in front of my car.
Now, there's been a few updates. How do we want to do this? Should we play the documentary and then I do like updates since? Is that a good way to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should do that. I've got a few updates. I've been going through old news articles and sort of seeing where those stories have gone because a lot of updates about electric versus gas. They're still in the news. People are still getting irritated. A lot of actors have weighed in on the bandwagon as well, which I'm very excited about. But let's revisit the doc, and then we will do some incredibly important updates afterwards. I've been documenting leaf blowers for a while now.
Wednesday morning, here we go. This will go for like another half hour at least.
This leaf blower was across the street from where I live, but it still cut through my windows and walls. A verbal assault to an otherwise quiet one-bedroom apartment.
And they're just moving leaves from one part of the pavement to another. Ugh.
Another day, another leaf blower. Leaf blowers.
There's two of them going out there. Two of them. Too many.
On some days, it interrupts my work. I go to record a voiceover, like the one you're listening to right now, and someone turns on a leaf blower. This puts me under tremendous pressure and stress, because if I don't make the show each week, I'm pretty sure Dax will revoke my visa and I'll become an illegal Flightless Bird.
I was in the middle of recording a voiceover for Flightless Bird, and yeah, this happens. They're surrounding me right now.
Sometimes they just idle, which I see as a direct threat from the leaf blower. It's saying, don't you dare sit down and get any work done, or I'll fuck you up.
I'm not even by the window anymore. I'm sitting at my desk, trying to work.
Between the ghost that wakes me up at 3 a.m. and this constant leaf blowing, something has to change. Or at least I had to try and understand why this was happening, the reason for this torture. See, back in New Zealand, we have a natural leaf blower which we call the wind. It doesn't require gas and it's pretty quiet. If that doesn't work, we get out something we call a rake.
So my name is Benjamin Cassidy. I'm a senior editor at Seattle Met Magazine in Seattle, Washington.
I'm talking to Benjamin because he recently wrote a passionate plea about the use of gas-guzzling leaf blowers.
Living in this city around so many landscaping crews that are coming through on city streets and blowing the sidewalks where seemingly there are no leaves to be found. And I've wondered why that is, and it seems like many people in the city are wondering the same thing.
This is a whole other issue. People blowing leaves where there aren't any leaves. I watched a TikTok the other day of a man on an apartment rooftop who had a leaf blower, and he was just wandering around blowing nothing. Absolutely nothing. He was using air to blow air. It's deranged behavior. Lock him up.
Have you gotten to the bottom of why this is happening in a city where you're not dealing with leaves? What are they blowing? Dust, bits of dirt, dog shit? What are they up to?
The explanation you hear from some folks is, well, on certain streets there are some leaves and you need to be able to clear those sidewalks for folks who might have a hard time getting around the city. But at the same time, there are, in Seattle, the resolution that was passed to phase out gas-powered leaf blowers. There are still electric leaf blowers that could be used, or rakes, brooms, etc., to clear a sidewalk. So I'm not against clearing the sidewalks of anything. I'm just against using this device that has negative health and environmental effects.
That's why Seattle has passed the resolution to phase them out. They're not only annoying to your ears, they're unhealthy. A study from back in 2011 found that hydrocarbon emissions from 30 minutes of leaf blowing with a gas-powered leaf blower are roughly the same as a 4,000-mile drive from Texas to Alaska. That's because the two-stroke engines found in most gas-powered leaf blowers are not great. They combine oil and gas in a single chamber, which gives it grunt and keeps it light enough to carry, but according to a piece in the New York Times, up to a third of the gas is spewed into the air, evaporated poison. Two-stroke engines dish out chemicals, and they whip up dust. Dust that's full of pollen, mold, old dried dog shit, and chemicals from pesticides. Ultimately, this means more risk of things like lung cancer, asthma, and heart disease developing when you suck this stuff into your body.
And has that law actually come into effect as far as not being able to use the gas leaf blowers? Has that come into effect yet?
No. First of all, it's a resolution, so it does not have the force of law. Resolutions are kind of interesting at the city council level because it's in some ways a statement of what our policy is, but not actually an enforceable policy.
Useless. No, to be fair, it's a positive step, but a long step, a 5-year deadline to phase them out. California is actually set to become the first state to ban gas-powered lawn equipment, but you'd hardly know anything listening to the cacophony of leaf blowers outside my window. California's governor, Gavin Newsom, signed a bill that said all small off-road engines need to be zero emission by 2024. He's thrown $30 million towards making that happen, which is great, but it's still 2 more years of me slowly going insane. California is following in the footsteps of around 100 American cities and towns that have also banned gas-powered leaf blowers. It's good news for people who make electric leaf blowers. It's their time to shine. One brand says while they used to ship 9 million units back in 2015, by 2020 it was 16 million, a leap of 75% in 5 years. Not bad. Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Quince. Now, when it comes to winter, which it is right now, that's why you're feeling a little bit cold, it's like survival of the fittest out there. And I'm willing to do or buy whatever I can to stay cozy. For the ultimate cold weather necessities made from premium materials, you've got to check out Quince. I just got a puffer jacket from Quince. I've never owned a puffer jacket before in my life. I don't know why this is.
Both my children have puffer jackets, and they look adorable in them. I'm sure
I
you
look
will
so
look
adorable.
equally adorable.
The one thing about puffer jackets that's unusual is when you pack them, they take up so much room in the suitcase, but you can just squeeze them in, right?
Yep.
I love wearing it so much.
They also have stuff like iconic Mongolian cashmere sweaters that start at $50.
Ooh la la. They have super soft fleece sweatpants. They're a major upgrade to whatever you're lounging in right now. And their wind-resistant, responsible down jackets are perfect for keeping warm. If you're on a big hike anywhere in America, then they're going to do you well. And by partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, Quince passes the savings on to you.
They use premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel in every piece.
Again, ooh la la.
You said that already.
I like saying it again. I love saying ooh la la. Ooh la la in New Zealand is actually something I say to drive one of my friends crazy. And so secretly to say it now,
Ooh la la.
I'm wanting to drive them crazy too.
Luxuriate in coziness without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/bird for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order.
That's QUINCE.com/bird to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/bird. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Mint Mobile. You know when you find a binge-worthy show or a song that you bump on repeat? For me, that's Apartment by Rosé. She's a New Zealander, by the way. You find that song and you have to share it with your friends so they can experience just how awesome the whole thing is. That's kind of what it feels like when you discover that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. It's such an awesome deal, there's no way you can keep it to yourself. Friends don't let friends overpay for wireless. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plan and switch to Mint Mobile. I mean, $15 a month? That is just insane. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with your existing contacts. So ditch that overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/bird. That's mintmobile.com/bird. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/bird. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 50 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
What is it about America that just likes to get rid of leaves, do you think?
I don't know, because in some ways, America is also obsessed with the concept of fall, right? Pumpkin spice latte and this whole environment. So yeah, that is sort of a tough thing to balance. I would say it's keeping up with your neighbor, whether it's real or imagined competition.
I think of that scene in The Truman Show, the perfect fake American town, all those perfect lawns. It's enough to drive you to the edge of your sanity.
Truman, I think I'm going to throw up. Me too.
I just think it's funny that, like many things, it's all or nothing. It's like, well, if we don't have the gas-powered leaf blowers, then how are we going to ever clear leaves? Which doesn't seem like it speaks well to our ability to innovate, which we love to celebrate and beat our chests about in this country. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, this isn't the biggest environmental or health negative effects for us to tackle, but it does seem like a little thing that we can change. These little annoyances that you would think we would have a solution to by now.
I've been thinking about what I've learnt so far, that America is phasing out gas-powered leaf blowers. But that for all of Seattle's posturing, it's still 5 years away from actually getting rid of the demon known as the gas-powered leaf blower. California's made a big song and dance about getting rid of them too, but not for another few years. I'll probably be dead by then. I'll have choked to death on the fumes of leaf blowers that surround my apartment. I needed to talk to someone in power, someone in charge of all this mess. I tried President Biden.
Okay, White House.
The White House?
Oh, hi, it's David Farrier speaking. I'm just wondering if there's a way to talk to President Joe Biden or to get a message to him.
That's easy, sir. All you have to do is write him an email or a letter and request for a phone call at his convenience.
Okay, and is it best, do you think, for email or a physical letter? What do you think has the best result?
It doesn't matter, because if with email, it's here instantaneously if you go to the White House website.
Okay, great. No, I can do that. And look, quick question for you out of curiosity. Do you use leaf blowers around the White House to get rid of the leaves?
Oh, I would not know anything about that, sir. That belongs to the grounds people.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, look, I really appreciate your help. Thank you so much.
I didn't rate my chances of getting a reply from the president, so I tried some senators and governors, but none of them wanted to talk to me. I worked my way down the list of power and eventually got to the most powerful person who'd talk to me, village trustee Nicole Asquith.
So I'm on my local village council. We call it the Board of Trustees.
Nicole is on the village council of a town called Pleasantville. Pleasantville sounds like a made-up place, but I looked it up on Google Maps and apparently it's real, found in upstate New York.
I suppose like you, but in a different way. I have not always lived in a situation where leaf blowers were ubiquitous the way that they are here. In fact, they are currently playing part of the soundtrack of our interview.
I thought we were safe. The leaf blowers in my LA neighborhood were, for once, silent. But almost 3,000 miles away, in a town called Pleasantville, they'd just fired up. There really is no escape. Nicole shuts the window, which makes very little difference.
And I have found it to be overwhelming at times. But there's also has been a vocal contingent of our community that felt that there was too much of the leaf blowers for some time. But there was a significant uptick during the pandemic because, as you know, all of a sudden there were a lot more people working from home.
This is exactly what Ben from Seattle Met magazine had told me earlier.
I've been spending, like so many people over the last couple of years, much more time in my apartment during work hours. And hearing how frequently these devices are being deployed has been shocking. In the part of the city that I'm in, I would not have expected that.
Like the aliens and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, leaf blowers had essentially been invading our lives for decades without us ever noticing.
They're taking you over, cell for cell, atom for atom. Suddenly, while you're asleep, they'll absorb your minds, your memories.
But being stuck at home all day, America finally woke up.
Yeah, exactly. And so we had many, many more residents writing in and saying, what is it with the constant leaf blowers? This is too much. You know, you have to do something about it.
I don't want any part of it. You're forgetting something, Miles. What's that? You have no choice.
There had been attempts made over a number of years to legislate leaf blowers in some ways. And where I live in New York State, there's no state regulation at this point. But many municipalities near where I live had already passed some kind of regulation. And so it's a little bit of the scattershot approach. And to be honest, if everybody had the time and the energy to take care of their own lawns, it probably would not make as much of an impact because who has the time to be out all the time blowing the leaves around? Sorry, I'm so distracted right now. It's so distracting. I mean, and it has to do with the kind of noise that particularly gas-powered leaf blowers produce, right? They have this like low, what do you call it?
Nicole is so distracted by the leaf blower outside her window, she can't get her words out. So let me take over in voiceover because I have no leaf blowers to distract me right now. Two-stroke leaf blowers emit a sound that has a really, really low frequency. Up close, they pump out up to 100 decibels of low-frequency, brain-penetrating sound. As much as a plane taking off.
Exactly. So what I was saying is that really the more egregious contributors to the problem, and this is nothing against landscapers, but it's the landscape companies that show up sometimes with 2, 3, 4 backpack blowers at a time. And obviously that produces a lot more sound. But in the summertime, leaf blowers are used to blow off grass clippings. Companies come through and they mow the grass, and then people like to have the little bits of grass blown off.
That's one of the most deranged things I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but like you see some sort of ridiculous situations. You know, you see people blowing particulate matter from one property literally to another property, or blowing into the street. I mean, part of the thing with leaf blowers is it's not whatever it is disappears. It's just going somewhere else.
Nicole says that even with all that noise, as people blew leaves and grass around willy-nilly, upsetting the pleasantness of Pleasantville, banning leaf blowers still proved difficult.
There was a strong contingent at a certain stage that said this is a discrimination against landscapers, basically. You know, you're telling landscapers how to do their business. And we changed what we proposed, too. Initially, there was a desire just to have a seasonal ban on all leaf blowers, and we got a lot of blowback on that. I would say it divides roughly in half of people who are in favor of legislation and people who are against legislation. And it raises this interesting question, too, of what do you do when even a minority of a community is adversely affected by something? Because the truth is it affects people in different ways. So take the noise sensitivity, for example. We spoke to people who had children who suffered from autism, whose children were particularly disturbed by the noise. For them, it has a much stronger impact. Depending on where you live, it might affect you a certain way, depending on how you work and so on. So if it really doesn't bother a certain amount of the community, but you have, say, a minority that feels that their quality of life is really affected by it, then what is the role of government? Which just is an interesting question, I think. Lawns themselves, I think, are a fascinating subject when it comes to this country because we imported it from England. The kind of grass we grow here is not at all designed for even an East Coast climate. It's what they call cool season grasses. It's not like the native grasses we had here at all. And so we have to fuss over them and put such ridiculous amount of work in order to get the grass to survive. It's just a really fascinating phenomenon. I think it's really interesting to think about where it comes from and what we're signifying by having these immaculate lawns in front of our houses. We have our own little castles. And there are people who study this who are interested in, from an anthropological perspective, there are people who speculate that it goes back to Africa. We're sort of naturally attracted to these landscapes in which we can see things from a distance. You know, you could sort of see the predators from afar and things like that, which I find kind of interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can be seduced by a beautiful lawn, too. I get it on a certain level. It's just that I also know what tremendous trouble it is. Not that I succeed in maintaining a nice lawn, but, you know, the pesticides that are required, the mowing, the now blowing in some cases, it's really a phenomenal amount of work.
Before I let Nicole return to local body politics, I had one final question about leaf blowers and the changing regulations, laws, motions, and resolutions governing their use.
What happens if people violate that? If people are just saying, stuff you to the law, I'm going to do what I want, I'm an individual, I have my rights, I'm going to blow these leaves all year long?
Technically, what happens is that people can call up either the building department or the police.
All right, the police could potentially turn up for this.
They could potentially, yeah. It goes first to the building department, and then outside of normal business hours, it goes to the police department. But they can technically call the police at any time. I doubt they're going to be super punitive, especially for a first offense.
I think the police should lock people up immediately if they flout this law. Lock them up.
I thank Nicole for her time and for being the only American political figure brave enough to talk to me about leaf blowers. I sat down and looked out the window at the beautiful country called the United States of America. I took that precious moment to take it all in, knowing that sometime, very soon, and without warning, the tranquility would end. Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Aura Frames. From big events to the moments you capture every day, doesn't it sometimes feel like all of your favorite photos are just stuck on your camera roll? They definitely are on my phone. I have about 10,000 photos sitting there. Wouldn't it be great to have an easy way to share and enjoy them with friends and family, where they're not just stuck on your phone? That's where Aura comes in. Name the #1 digital photo frame by Wirecutter. Aura makes it effortless to upload unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone, so your favorite memories are always within view. Plus, you can personalize and preload an Aura frame for a truly special, unforgettable gift. I have done this for my parents. I've talked about this many times before. I gave them a photo frame. I filled it up with about 50 photos from my life here in the States, and they catch up on what I do via the Aura frame, which I update once every week. Now, you can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames by using promo code BIRD at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code BIRD. This deal is exclusive to listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. What a beautiful trip down memory lane. I did some fierce Googling while that was playing, and basically this year California banned the sale of them, so no more gas-powered leaf blowers for sale.
Wow.
You're not meant to be using them. People around my house are definitely still using their existing gas-powered leaf blowers.
Yeah, mine
so
too.
it's basically no new sales, but I think until these things like run out of gas, literally, they're just going to keep blowing them. So I'm glad no more are being sold, but there's definitely still like thousands of these things out in California doing their thing. Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it mostly just comes down to sound pollution. You're against all sound pollution.
I've seen both of them in action. I've tried an electric leaf blower just to see what it's all about. It's fun blowing stuff around. They're definitely quieter, but it's the noise. It's the crazy noise. And it still comes down to that thing of like, why are we doing this, right? Like, leaves on the ground are okay. Like, Rosabel slipped on one leaf. It was a freak accident.
I mean,
there's a lot of places that have leaves on the ground. Little insects are laying their eggs in there. It's a great ecosystem. I don't know why we're needing to move them in the first place. It seems like this kind of invented problem that America has.
With cleanliness.
Well, yeah, I mean, just with nature. It's like leaves fall from the ground, they decompose naturally, they disappear. I think like that's what should happen. I don't know why we're blowing them.
So are you opposed to like raking and tidying up your lawn?
There's actually a saying that's come out in all of this debate, make America rake again, which I find very funny. I'd rather you rake than leaf blow, but I also don't see a problem with a leaf on a lawn. Like, I don't look at a lawn that has leaves on it and feel like that's horrific. I'm like, that's nature.
Well, but there's also like brush issues in California. Like, you need to tidy that up.
Oh, like a fire hazard.
Yeah, it's a larger potential for fire.
All right, this is a point that's potentially getting through to me. So get that out of the way.
Because if you have a bunch of dead leaves, they're very flammable.
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that. Okay, that's the first good argument I've heard for getting leaves out of the way. I mean, what you've done in your yard is just create a little fire hazard in the corner because all these dry leaves are like piled up in like a little ready to burn pile.
Yeah, but it'll be contained.
But it'll be a contained fire in the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so a couple of celebrities have joined in the hatred. Hugh Grant, he's in A20. Have you seen Heretic yet?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
See it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was fun. It was
fun. It's like basically it's just like a big analysis of like organized monotheistic religions.
Right.
With Hugh Grant being like, it's fun seeing him play a creepy bad guy.
Yeah, that part was fun, and both the actresses in it were great too.
They were cool. So on the press run, he went on an extended rant about leaf blowers, which I really like.
And leaf blowers, you're not a fan?
I think that anyone who uses a leaf blower or hires anyone else to use a leaf blower should have it rectally inserted.
So I've got a big advocate in Hugh Grant. He agrees with this campaign. Obviously British, so not American. And Cate Blanchett also, this was doing the rounds when this played the first time. I just hadn't come across it. She's Australian, and she also has some beef.
I don't understand leaf blowers and I don't understand golf. But leaf blowers, if I see a leaf blower, I will. Leaf blowers, I go from 0 to 1,000. I'm moving
What do you
leaves
not
from
like
one
about-
place to another. You blow leaves from one side of the pavement to the other side of the pavement, only for them to be blown back again, and then you go, oh, I'm going to blow them again. Need to have the wind go and blow them back in the first place. I cannot. It's all that is wrong with the human race. I could be here for 3 hours talking to you about leaf blowers.
So just from junket interviews, she's brought it up again and again and again.
She is not a fan of leaf blowers either.
No, so multiple junkets, multiple interviews, she has just gone on tangents about the leaf blower.
I mean, there's a common denominator between these celebrities that are putting up a
Not
fight
American.
is they're not American. They're
Yeah, we
coming from a
see-
place that they don't exist and they're not used to them.
Yeah, we're stunned by it. Like, we're stunned by the obsession. We're not used to it, and I don't think we ever will get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, leaf blowers, though, like, I don't like it too quiet. I come from living in Chicago, and, like, there's trains coming by all the time.
Yeah.
You got cars honking. Like,
So you're almost saying that, like, some noise pollution is better than nothing. So you hear a leaf blower, and you're like, I'm in a city that's full of life and people, and that brings you a sense of comfort.
I mean, I don't know if specifically leaf blowers are doing that for me, but I like the absolute quiet. I don't love either.
There's something about the leaf blower, though. It's like a train is like, it's a rumbly train. It's kind of exciting. Like hearing a subway go past or something, if that's around, I'm like, that's okay, a train. There's something about the leaf blower that's just like, I just want to scream.
It's just the functional usage of it.
It's two things. It's the noise, and it's the fact that you've just got men blowing things from one place to another. There's something about that fundamentally just makes me feel wild somehow.
I think the equivalence to that for me is going to New York and hearing how much people honk their car horns.
The constant.
That is not helpful. And like you stay at a hotel in the city, you are hearing that all night.
Yeah, right.
And it's,
right.
That car is not moving any faster because you're honking. Like they've totally devalued the usage of that horn.
People
if
are
they're
just
using it nonstop.
Constantly. No, I think that's a really good point. It's just they're sitting gridlock. There's no point in doing it. And because everyone is doing it constantly,
it means nothing.
It means nothing at all.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good comparison. A few articles that have come out since that story first ran. Headline out of Greenwich. Greenwich. Who's to say? Connecticut? Greenwich? Greenwich? I'm just going to say Greenwich. I'm not from here. I can say what I want. Cost to convert entire Greenwich fleet to electric leaf blowers. Shell-shocking, officials say. Big story from just 1 week ago. Town officials voted to enact a summertime ban on gas-powered leaf blowers earlier this year, and now the bill is coming due. The Department of Public Works and Parks and Rec have requested finance officials provide $476,000 to buy new electric leaf blowers, and that has got everyone in a tailspin.
I feel like this is just going to end up like the daylight savings legislation that's passed in California.
Excuse me? I've completely missed this.
They've like passed the ability to make it not happen, but this was like years ago.
And
everyone thought like, all right, it's gone now. We're done with this. But they just passed the ability to do it and then they haven't done it. So it's just not happening.
I did not know that was a thing here.
Yeah.
I support turning daylight saving off.
A lot of people do. I remember the year after it happened, like everyone's like, why are we doing this? I thought this passed. And
it just hasn't.
There's some
happened.
like weird thing with it where they can change it if they want, but there's still all this stuff that needs to happen.
How long ago did this happen? Like,
this was like 3-4 years ago.
So I would have been here when it happened?
Yeah.
I somehow missed all of that. That's incredible.
I think we've probably had a conversation about it.
Completely forgotten.
Yep.
Leaf blowers will not go quietly. This is from Bloomberg.com. Scores of US cities are trying to muffle the seasonal din of gas-powered leaf blowers, but new regulations and fines are generating resistance. There's a huge story here. Everybody should have their freedom to choose whatever they want to use on their property because, again, it's supposed to be America, said Hector. You're supposed to have freedom to work a gusto comfortably.
I do wonder how much the new administration's going to affect any of
these kind of
movement
like
on the-
environmentally friendly changes.
Republicans and Democrats, where do they normally fall in the leaf
I would say
blower
that
line?
Democrats would go electric or ban them. Republicans, gas powered all the way. That's how I feel it goes.
I mean, unless Tesla puts out an electric leaf blower.
Oh my God, I wouldn't put it past Musk to do something like that. Town of Huntington to begin banning gas powered leaf blowers in January. So next year, the town of Huntington is a step closer to banning gas-powered leaf blowers. These articles just go on and on all across different states, basically saying they're being banned, but people that have gas-powered ones are still just using them anyway. So same as California, same everywhere else. Horrible.
I do kind of want a gas-powered power washer.
What is that? Oh, like
it's
to
got
blast
the hose thing to clean
Yeah.
decks and swing sets and
Yeah. It like takes mold and stuff off, or like moss and stuff.
I've tried the electric ones and they have not
Yeah.
gone well. I've got one and it just like dribbles out. It's my hose, I think, sprays harder than it, and I think the gas powered one's the way to go. But
How often are you needing to like water blast like things? Like, is this a common thing?
the air in LA is so bad.
Also, it's just
that,
everything's
like,
coated with
everything in our
horrible stuff.
backyard is just
Yeah.
caked with stuff. If we don't have a cover on something,
Yeah.
like it's just caked.
I've noticed that like in the house. Do you notice like in LA you get like a thin layer of like dust over everything like very quickly?
Yeah.
So that's just the horrific air we have here.
But I mean, put something outside and see it like get even worse.
Yeah, okay. See, I'm in an apartment, so I don't have to deal with outside stuff like you do. LA, nightmare. Remember how we did the shower curtains episode and the New York Times reviewed all those shower curtains?
Mhm.
New York Times also has a whole set of best leaf blower reviews. I'm not going to advertise them here. I'll put in the show notes. I just find it very funny. The New York Times, this like prestigious paper, has like best lists of shower curtains, best list of leaf blowers. It's just very funny to me.
Is it a list of electric ones?
All electric.
All electric.
Yeah, all electric
Good,
now.
good.
Yeah. And yeah, a lot of people reviewing electric leaf blowers in very serious ways. This headline, I tried the new battery-powered Toro leaf blower and here's how it went.
Well, I'm a little confused though what your stance is. Are you pro electric leaf blower?
No, I want none.
None.
Let's
yeah,
be
yeah,
clear.
yeah.
I
Okay.
want none.
Okay.
They're all terrible.
Yep.
I think it's better to be using an electric one because it's not as loud and not as annoying.
But you'd rather the city just be messy, covered in shit, and
Yeah, absolutely.
easily lit on fire.
Yeah, technically.
Okay.
Yeah, I want nature to take over and do
Mhm,
its thing. And I
mhm.
think once like nature is allowed to come back, I think the city would just calm down a little bit and it would be a net bonus.
How do you feel about mowing lawns?
It's a good question. I love the smell of freshly mown grass.
Gasoline mixed with chopped grass.
Just the chopped grass bit.
Okay.
No, I see what you're doing. You're trying to get
Mhm.
around my logic because lawnmowers are loud and horrible.
Yeah.
And also technically pointless because grass should be allowed to grow and do its thing.
I mean, tidied grass is not the worst thing. We also don't live in a place with a ton of grass. Like growing up in the suburbs of Chicago, like as a kid, I would mow the lawn at my parents' house.
Oh, so we both do that. We had such similar upbringings. Yeah, I was up like a couple of times a week. Well, a couple of times a month, like mowing grass.
It was like once a week. Get $20 to mow my neighbor's lawn.
Yeah. No, for some reason, I don't have the same level of anger against the idea of mowing a lawn, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because I'm used to it in New Zealand, and as you said, like coming to America, it's a bit of a shock having the leaf blower.
A lawnmower is not that much quieter than a leaf blower.
It's loud.
Yeah,
It's really
pretty
loud. I always found it scary, like the idea of like, you'd always think of like accidentally running over someone's foot or something and like chopping toes off. They're scary things.
You heard the stories of like someone reaching, like we
I know,
had
reaching
a
in to clear
family
something out.
friend that was missing like parts of his fingers because he like reached in to clean the lawnmower and then
horrible
forgot to turn it off.
We had briefly a ride-on lawnmower. I think we borrowed it off a neighbor, and that thing was pretty fun.
My Grammy had one.
Yeah, because it's like you're driving on the lawn. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's
And
the best.
you're 9.
And you're 9. It's like, yeah, this is incredible. And it's loud and it's exciting. So, okay, you might have called out my logic slightly there. Just slightly.
All right.
A little bit. But in short, not a lot has changed. They've stopped in a lot of states selling gas-powered leaf blowers. They're all electric now. But that hasn't stopped people using their existing gas-powered one. It's still loud out there. It's still irritating, and I'm still going to be annoyed about it.
Do you know the lifespan of a gas-powered leaf blower?
No idea.
Because, I mean, they could be 10 years before they stop working.
I think that's probably right. I think they're probably pretty hardy.
I also feel like the gas-powered one's probably mechanically, it's built mechanically better than an electric one.
You're probably right.
But something about just like the gears in the gas-powered portion.
They're going to just soldier on forever. The electric ones are going to be falling over. They're going to be terrible. People aren't going to want to convert over to them.
The electric one I have is powerful.
Yeah.
It blows hard. It does not have a battery pack. You might be able to get one. But
so you got to charge it up.
No,
it's got to be corded in.
Yeah, I've got extension cords around that I'm like trying to find outlets that I'm plugging into and trying to find a long enough cord to get into this corner.
A true nightmare. How often, just final question for you, how often are you using it, would you say?
Twice this year.
I think that's acceptable.
Yeah.
I think my beef comes from just the volume of usage and just seeing so many leaves being blown just to a different patch and not like put away or like thrown out, but just like moved from one place to another. I think that's what it comes down to. You're moving the problem from one place to another and you're not solving a problem.
Well, I mean, ideally,
like you in the courtyard.
But ideally, like the gardener that's using it is blowing it and then blowing them into a corner and then
I've never seen it happen.
I mean, all right.
All right. Now, a lot of feedback to American Girl. American Girl, I haven't got feedback from their head office yet. I like to think that they will be thrilled with the episode. Just before it aired, they did send me an email saying, we'll be sending you our 2025 Girl of the Year, Summer McKinney, and Disney Princess Tiana. So I have those. So I'm going to just show you these to you, Rob. Okay. This is...
Oh, they come with a nice little stand.
This little stand. So this is Princess.
Maybe turn it towards that.
Okay, that is Princess.
Oh, like
Princess Tiana that I've just put out there. And this is Summer McKinney, a present for you, Rob. That is Girl of the Year 2025. That
comes
can
with
be
glasses.
Your own 18-inch buddy. So you notice it'll come with a, what does it come with there?
Her eyes are closed.
Yeah, I think they open when you put her upright.
Oh, that's...
So yeah, when she sleeps, the eyes close, which is kind of incredible.
Oh,
so
that is so creepy.
Yeah, isn't that amazing technology?
Have you done that?
I have. I have experimented a little bit, and yeah, activates. So that is
like she's raising from the dead.
That is Girl of the Year. She comes with a little purse. You get a booklet in there that's kind of has their backstory.
Oh, she's got some glasses.
I got to put the glasses on. That's really important. Rob, I think I can see some joy in your eyes. I got to say, beautiful. As you can see, very not to make this a commercial for American Girl. But that's them. And I thought important for people to kind of, you included, Rob, to sort of witness it in the flesh. Feelings? Reactions?
I think still terrifying. I do feel, it might be mean.
You can be mean.
No.
Okay.
Put them in Calvin's room so that he wakes up and
oh no, that's
has it all.
So just staring at him?
He had these baby Yodas, the Grogu, and he's just starting getting real freaked out by them. They were up on his like bookshelf.
Oh, and just having the eyes there.
Yeah, and
I get that.
I remember coming in one morning and they were like turned around.
Oh,
because he
little guy.
Yeah.
Get Summer in there, staring him down.
I don't think you would like that. I might.
My friend Dylan wrote in saying, I was listening to Flightless Bird and the interview with American Girl's marketing person and thinking, is David selling out?
Absolutely.
Which is fair. He said, no, it took me a second, but I realized that marketing stuff absolutely fits and belongs. The US is so shaped by consumerism, capitalism, and marketing. You have to hear from the corporate side of things to get the full picture. Same for the Olive Garden.
I do feel like we do an okay job of staying objective, even if we're being sold from.
Oh, I think we do. And I think, no,
corporate
it is for me, it is still like a joy to hear from a marketing exec person who is so instilled in the language of the place. It's just sort of funny to me. Okay. A lot of feedback. Kim wrote into flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. She said, it really hit home for me. Growing up, I had a huge fear of dolls, all thanks to a dream where I had an American Girl doll chasing me around a doctor's office with a butcher's knife. Despite this completely rational fear, every Christmas when my family asked what I wanted, I'd still rattle off the name of an American Girl doll. To this day, I'm not sure why I did this or why they kept buying them, because once I got them, I never played with them. Instead, every night before bed, I'd have to check that the dolls were safely locked away, where I tucked them in my parents' bedroom closet. It was the only way I could sleep, knowing the dolls couldn't escape and kill me with their kitchen knives. To this day, there are upwards of 10 American Girl dolls still locked in that closet.
That
she
seems
also
like the
finished.
setup to a horror movie.
She said at the end, I recently had my first child, and my fear of dolls has been rekindled. I'm fighting a very real internal battle. Do I gift these dolls to her or keep them securely locked away in my parents' house? That's the setup for the film.
I think you burn them.
You burn them immediately.
Yeah, I don't think
Absolutely.
you keep them locked up. I think that's even scarier that they're locked up in the closet.
Imagine if they sell that house and the next family that buys it.
Yeah, knocks down the door because there's 6 padlocks on it. And
just 10 dolls stood there.
Falling out.
Absolutely horrific. Laura wrote in saying apparently you can rent out American Girls from libraries. She said, here's an article from the Times from 2013 about American Girl dolls being lent out in a library in New York City and coming back with different hairstyles and new clothes, clearly being loved and having adventures along the way.
I guess we know who's coming to your birthday party this year.
It's really...
You're going to get about 75 American Girl dolls and fill your...
I think it's cool you can get them from the library. I'm curious how many you could rent out at once. You know, I knew you could get films from libraries. Incredible that you can also get American Girls.
American Girl dolls, David.
American Girl dolls, separate things. Important. And that's a different podcast. They also added my dad has worked for many years with the Olive Garden. They do employ real Italian chefs and have an actual Tuscan cooking school in Tuscany. The brother of Rob's friend, Michael Vortaggio, Brian, has consulted with him in the past. And so there you go, just saying how Olive Garden is legit. Danielle.
Danielle or Danielle?
I'm going with Danielle.
Well, is this one word or are you saying...
Danielle.
Danielle. I thought you were saying like Danny, last name starts with L. So like David F.
No, Danielle.
Danielle.
You do like names, don't you? You've called me out of names before.
Well, I just want to understand what you're saying.
Danielle.
Yeah, Danielle.
I got such a kick out of the American Girl doll episode because growing up in the late 90s, I was very much into the craze. I remember having Kaylee, and the American Surfer with the Golden Retriever. I grew up in the middle of the woods in central VA. So Kaylee had the beach life I always wanted. Isn't that nice? Tell Rob, this is from Maddie, Maddie. There is an American Girl doll store in Chicago at Water Tower Place, and it's huge. Like it's truly theme parked size. So there you go, Chicago. Kyle, possibly Kylie, Kyle.
That's Kyle.
I wanted to mention that one of my most vivid American Girl memories is of the American Girl Hospital, mysterious mailing address where you sent your dolls to get patched up if you played with them too aggressively. We mentioned this in the episode briefly. My sister famously nibbled the fingers off her Kirsten doll. Still remains a nail biter to this day. She also used to swing the doll around in circles by its arms and eventually dislocated one of the arms. Kirsten, it's intense,
okay.
Kirsten Kirsten, had to make a harrowing journey to the hospital to get arm replacement surgery and returned it with not only fresh arms, but a perfectly coiffed hairstyle. Did she also get a head transplant while she was there, or just a new wig? I'm unclear. She had a little hospital gown on when she arrived home to us and a tiny get well balloon. They fucking commit to the baby.
Yeah, the ecosystem of it is impressive.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize they went that hard.
I mean, that's like a branding wet dream of like...
Emily also sent her girl into the hospital, her girl doll. They fixed the gnarled mat of her hair. She came back in a hospital gown, complete with grippy socks and an ID bracelet. Insane. Long Dog Dandy messaged me on Instagram. Does anyone else remember the grin pins? I was like, what is a grin pin?
Nope.
AmericanGirl.fandom.com says grin pins, also called the Grin Pin Collection, are a series of pin buttons released by American Girl starting in 94, discontinued by the early 2000s. Mary Kate said, I'm so glad you touched on the non-doll related books. Would venture to say a majority of millennial women learned about puberty and periods from The Care and Keeping of You, which was an American Girl produced book. It's legendary. Okay, this one blew my mind. Mag said, you have to go to the Cabbage Patch Kid Hospital where Cabbage Patch Kids are born. Were you aware of this?
No.
There's a thing called the Babyland General Hospital in Cleveland, Georgia. It's been voted one of the Travel Channel's top 10 toylands. I went to the website.
Oh, I'm so confused by all this
so
wording.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Cleveland, but in Cleveland, Georgia,
Yep.
not Cleveland, Ohio.
Georgia.
Cleveland, Georgia. The state or the country?
Don't know.
Probably the state.
I imagine the state. So Cabbage Patch Kids, little creatures, little children.
Yeah, they're dolls.
They're dolls. I went to their website. I'm just going to read it because it sounds like some kind of acid trip. Mother Cabbage is always on display beneath the branches of the magic crystal tree. Pollinated by fanciful bunny bees, our magical cabbage patch is tended by our licensed patch doctors and nurses. Babyland General Hospital is the only place in the world where you can witness the birth of a hand-sculpted Cabbage Patch Kid. The self-guided tour allows you to take as much time as you like touring Babyland and playing with our Cabbage Patch Kids. With thousands of Cabbage Patch Kids throughout the hospital, you're sure to find your perfect match. Take the oath of adoption, and your new baby will give you unconditional love.
I mean, the fact that they're calling it a hospital creeps me out a little bit.
You want to hear something else? Alicia wrote in, at their previous hospital. Oh no, this is back to American Girl now. Their previous hospital was actually a real hospital at one time. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I like that America they don't just give you a doll, they also give you a location where you can witness one being like birthed.
I mean, I guess they're trying to teach kids how babies are born.
I guess it's also like teaching every kid that this is what you have to do. Like you have to you're here to have a child and this is how it all works. Just in such an intense way.
Yeah.
Got to get new workers to work at Elon's factories. Erica said, my friend, we're almost at the end of the American Girl doll feedback. This is about, by the way, 1/200th of what came through. Erica said, my friend had an American Girl doll that I was so jealous of when she went away for spring break one year. She wanted me to babysit it. I took the doll for the week and brought over her and all of her clothes and accessories into a suitcase. It was the best week of my 9-year-old's life. S wrote in, first initial, New Zealand has a rip-off version called Our Generation. My son always wants to play with a giant camper van when you go into Farmers. That's a local, that's like our target. And
It's called
requests
Farmers?
it for birthdays and Christmas. It's called Farmers. There are no farmers there. You can get beds there, toys. It's kind of like Target without the groceries. There's nothing farmy about it. There's no farmland, no cows, no sheep. I don't actually know why it's called Farmers.
Bet you're one Google search away from finding out.
If you were doing this podcast in New Zealand, if you were me,
I'd be doing an
you'd
episode
be
on
like, here we
farmers.
are. This is farmers. I'm in New Zealand. This is wacky place. Why is it called farmers? No farmers here. Okay. A little bit of other feedback. Our Seattle show has sold out. We're excited. Thank you to everyone who has written in with Seattle show ideas, places that we can visit. Keep them coming. flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com.
The weirder, the better, I think. Too.
The weirder, the better. Yeah, there's some good stuff coming in, but keep it coming. Like, we're looking for those magical little things we can do while we're there.
Yeah, if like you got an in with a serial killer and
yeah, ins are good. Like, ins are like a really good thing for us to have because we're looking for show ideas, but also just things to do.
If your grandpa designed the Space Needle,
like, is that a tower in Seattle?
Oh, Space Needle, yes, it's a cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
tower.
inns are good. Like, if you've got like a personal inn and we can just come to your grandpa's house because he's designed the Space Needle, we'll be there.
As long as he's not like Spaceman Barry.
As long as he's not a Spaceman Barry type.
Yes.
I also remembered, of course, Starbucks is all there. They've rejected me in the past. If you know anyone in head office at Starbucks that can pass on a message saying that I'm to be trusted, then please relay that on. I would love to hear from you.
Or if Starbucks wants to donate drinks to everyone in the audience.
Oh, that would be so good. Yeah. Keep everyone like completely like caffeined up. John wrote in just briefly saying, David immediately dismissing sleep apnea and committing to the ghost theory makes him 800% more American. Push healthcare to the side and embrace madness. America. I really like that comment.
How many days have you been home?
I've been back for 3 days now.
Every night? Are you waking up?
I've actually slept through.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good point. There's a slight chance that I've possibly embellished the ghost story.
I had a feeling.
Because ghosts probably aren't real. But it's a fun narrative.
It's a good bit.
And I enjoy arguing with people about it a lot.
So you've actually only woken up like 3 times?
I haven't woken up very often. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm coming clean. It's
for your birthday.
It's just for my birthday.
David from Bethlehem, but not really from Bethlehem.
I just like the idea that you can talk about ghosts and people do take it seriously.
I do like that every year around your birthday, you do a reveal that you've been lying about something for a very long time.
Yeah. The last year, common thing, everyone thinks I was born in Bethlehem, which is a city in New Zealand. A town in New Zealand, but I simply went to high school in Bethlehem. So the big reveal this Christmas, I don't have a ghost. I really like this one from Lace. I'm visiting New Zealand right now and think of you often. New Zealand, chocolate, pies, coffee, fish and chips have one's hands down. Kids can wear shorts in any weather and not be cold. I'm heading into Central North Island today. Finished up my South Island tour. Thanks for being my inner voice as I adventure through your country. I really love it here. I thought that was a nice one to end on. So, in summary, a lot of Americans are really obsessed with American Girl dolls. That really hit me like so much feedback. If you've got any feedback for this episode, any thoughts on leaf blowers, maybe you're involved in some leaf blower legislation, we're flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. If you want to watch this podcast, we're on YouTube at Flightless Bird Podcast. You can watch what Rob's face did when he saw an American Girl doll open its eyes for the first time as it rose up from its box.
Not my favorite.
Christmas, very soon.
Tomorrow.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas Eve. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. That was a test.
Yeah,
and
I
you
know.
passed right away. Oh my God, that's so nice. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to have a beautiful birthday. I can't wait. And you have a beautiful Christmas.
Thank you.
Santa, all that stuff. Calvin, Vincent, all that. They'll love it.
Yeah, it's too bad you guys don't have Christmas in New Zealand. You'd enjoy it.
I know. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Just we only have my birthday.
Yep.
That's all we have. All right, Merry Christmas.